Hey, it's Redban. You're listening to Muff Said on the Death Squad Podcast Network. Check out deathsquad.tv for all your Death Squad shit. We have t-shirts, we have stickers, we have a bunch of different podcasts that we do, and we keep them all under one name on iTunes. It's called Death Squad. So just open up your iTunes, search for Death Squad, hit subscribe, and you will automatically download every single new episode that we do here at Death Squad, including our new ones like Kevin Pereira's Pointless and our Death Squad Secret Show, which is a live podcast that we do every week at the Comedy Store for free. Tickets are available at deathsquad.tv or at the Comedy Store's website, thecomedystore.com. And check out the Ding Dong Show, which is also a live free show there every Monday at 10 p.m. following the Death Squad Secret Show. Sounds confusing? Yes, it is. But it's really easy. Just go to deathsquad.tv for all the information on everything. And now, here's a brand new episode of Muff Said.
Hey, this is Redban coming to you live from Death Squad Studios here in Pasadena, California for a brand new episode of Muff Said. Here is Ryan Keely.
You know, it's episode number 23.
Is it really?
It is episode number 23. I'm very excited about that.
That's cool.
We have, of course, the ever-present Robot Pants by my side.
Hello, hello. We're sitting. I don't think we've ever sat next to each other before.
This is very romantical. This is very intimate.
It's usually been across the table.
So we can gaze longingly into each other's eyes. I don't know what I'm going to do.
We have Play-Doh.
Now that I have to sit next to the sixth sexiest man in video game development. I mean, I don't know if I can handle this type of closeness.
Well, slide a finger and see what happens.
And it's true, Nick Ahrens, a.k.a. Robot Pants, does have a pile of Play-Doh.
Oh, my God. So I have green. I have purple. I have a lot of oranges.
Yes, and he has hoarded them all for me and says that I cannot play with his Play-Doh. Which
it smells so good.
The mission is trying to make one of those Death Squad cats, and some person try.
Oh, I could do that. Yeah. All right, I'm going to be quiet for the next whole episode.
Well, since you're going to be quiet, I'm going to introduce our guests. With us today, we have not one, but two guests. You may know them as a electro hip-hop punk rock duo, but they are also known for their 3D interactive displays. I have Nathan Huber and Ryan Perdero of Kid Infinity.
Well, what's up?
Hello.
Welcome to the studio.
Thanks for having us.
So I'm kind of excited. You're kind of our first tech creator guests, I think. The first people that actually make tech.
Yeah.
This is a turning point in Muff Said. But before
you guys are smart.
Before we get into that, I want to get into the beers. So last week, or our last episode, we talked about
Shitty beer?
We talked about shitty beer. There was some terrible beer last week. We talked about creating a beer list similar to the Top Gear Car and the Reason We Play Star list. So for our initial calibration of this list, we're going to start with two beers. I have Smittix, which is a lesser-known beer that is brewed by Guinness. It's a pretty basic
I like it.
Irish ale. Let me see if it has anything about it. This ale, according to the label, delivers a distinctive amber color, full-bodied taste, and ultra-smooth finish. Now, I want everyone to grab their Smittix and let me know what you think.
I started drinking already. I think it's fantastic, by the way.
This is really spectacular.
It's really smooth.
So
is this supposed to be like their cheapo beer? Because like, Guinness is not like Guinness is like a widely known popular brand, but it's definitely not like a cheapo beer.
So I purchased the Smittix right around St. Patty's Day because it was on sale for $7 for a 6-pack, which is a great deal for beers in Los Angeles. And I was really poor, and I was like, I need beer for my podcast.
You weren't that poor because you could have got like a $3 pack of
Natty Ice.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep it classy.
She got standards. Natty Light, Natty Ice, or whatever that is. Yeah.
No, you got to do the Natty Ice. It's way better than the Natty Light.
The finish of this beer, it's got a really good finish.
It's clean. It's super clean. Like you're
it's almost like a breath mint.
That's Nathan Huber.
Bear. He should be sitting in a throne right now.
Bear.
So that is the Smittix. Now I want you to reach over and I want you to have a sip of the other beer, which is great white beer from the Lost Coast Brewery and Cafe in Eureka, California.
This is the one I was trying to figure out on the air last episode.
Ooh, I like that.
This is my favorite California beer right here.
This is this made by the same guys that make Alley Cat?
Yes.
You mean the cat food?
Yes.
Yes. Which Redban is a fan of as well.
I can't tell if it's because I just drank the last beer and then drank this one. This one kind of tastes like it's rusty or something.
Rusty.
Yeah, like aluminum or no, like an old tin can.
Which is
No,
odd.
I get that. I get that. There's a little bit of an after.
Yeah.
That's
the hops.
Ryan Pardario.
It's the IPA. It's an IPA.
You're
right?
doing really good with our names.
Yeah, what is this? It's a white, right?
A white beer.
Yeah, so this
This is
is
a white
let's read
ass
the
beer.
tasting notes. This light, unfiltered beer is made with a 2-row malted barley, unmalted wheat, crystal clear mountain water, and ale yeast. It is spiced with coriander and a secret blend of Humboldt herbs, that give it a distinct, delicate citrusy flavor. Because Great White is unfiltered, natural yeast settling may appear at the bottom of the bottle. And that's what it says.
I don't taste citrus. I don't know. I think we fucked up by having like these two crazy. We should have had the light beer first, I guess.
These are both light beers.
Or I mean, the non. Oh, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wouldn't buy either.
Really?
I'd buy them both.
Yeah,
But which do you like more than the other?
the one that's made by Guinness.
So we're going to go with Smittix above Great White.
That's why I'm saying I can't tell if I'm tasting the Great White right because I don't know. You know what? Like I have another taste.
Right, your
in my
taste
mouth.
buds
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
That is true.
I feel like if you drank more Great White, you'd probably get sicker
Quicker.
faster. Whereas the Smithwicks maybe.
Smittix. But it is spelled Smithwicks. It's like how I'm trying to pronounce your names by looking at the spelling.
Smithwicks?
Phonetically, yeah.
Nathan Huber.
Wait, so how
Huber.
do you know that it's called Smittix then?
Yeah.
Because I've been to Ireland, and I've also sat down with the company that is the importer and seller of the Guinness beers.
Oh.
They're called Diageo.
You're saying you're better than us.
All
I
right,
get it. It's fine.
So she knows how it's pronounced.
Let's double check by having a YouTube video that has the name in it and see what they say.
I could be wrong. I'm frequently wrong on this podcast.
Here we go.
Are we going to hear with a crazy
Please
accent?
have a leprechaun in there.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Ireland, Europe's last outpost before the
Ireland.
Great Atlantic, is a small island of many contrasts. For centuries,
All right,
its
this might
wealth
take
of
so long.
I'm very positive it's pronounced
This
Smittix.
is like a
Smittix, yeah, someone just sent me a
45-minute
message.
long video.
It's Smittix.
It's Smittix.
in this tradition.
The-
Oh, we missed it by like a second.
Smithwick's have
She's right.
Speaking
Was that like a PBS like special or something like that? It's like one of those cutaway videos they did on Mr. Rogers. He's like, "Do you want to know how beer is made, everyone?"
yes.
That's what that felt like. Yes, I do, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, when they went to the crayon factory.
Crayon Factory is good. The Mail Factory
Or
is
the
good.
Cleveland tourism video, remember that?
I went on a YouTube delve last week, and I was rewatching all of the Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler ads with Bruce Willis. And let
boy.
me tell you, that is a magical moment in beer-making television.
Yeah. Did you guys watch the G.I. Joe, speaking of Bruce Willis?
No.
I haven't seen it.
Is it good? Haven't
G.I.
seen it.
Joe?
The new
Yeah,
G.I.
he's in
Joe
the new
movie.
one.
Bruce Willis is in the new one?
Yeah.
And The Rock.
Whoa.
The Rock looks ridiculously ripped.
So I walked through.
Oh my gosh!
I walked through a. I was walking through some public area that had a bunch of advertisements, and there was like 5 movie posters in a row. 3 of them had The Rock on it. I'm not kidding. I was like, wow, this guy has just got staying power now. He really does. He is just in the industry for good. Because for a while when he first showed up, I think it was in the Mummy movie. I think was like his first big
second
movie.
Mummy.
The second Mummy
Yeah,
movie.
the
They're
Scorpion
like, what?
King
Like
or
what?
something.
They're putting a wrestler. This is crazy. And now he's. I mean, does he even wrestle still? I don't even know.
No, he doesn't
No.
wrestle.
But he was actually a 3D animated, not 3D. Well, he was an animation in the Scorpion King, if you remember.
Oh, really?
It wasn't for the fight sequence when he turned into the Scorpion.
Right.
Like
it
they
was
like
a computer generated
version of The Rock.
and it wasn't very good.
no.
So was that a 3D animation that you worked on, Nathan
No.
Huber?
Close enough. No, I have not worked on that.
I like Huber.
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 That sounds really
I think that's how it
fancy.
might be. It's a German name.
Yeah.
So-
Das ist guten.
Uber.
Who better?
Uber.
Uber. Yeah, something like that.
Fuck yeah.
But I'm cool with Huber or
Do you guys
whatever.
think that The Rock is like the new Arnold Schwarzenegger?
He kind of is.
Yeah.
Except I think there's a part in his contracts now where he has to be sweating all the time. Did you see the last Fast and the Furious movie?
No.
It's like noticeable. Like it's every scene he's just hulking out and just drenched, and you're like, that's a lot of. That's a lot of liquid to be on a human being. It
he
really
has a makeup assistant that makes sure that he glistens.
Just
like,
glisten, just
like standing by the spray
not like
bottle.
a little bit. Like it's like a fire hose of it. Like before they shoot, and he's like, "All right, I'm ready." Like, and then he like psychs himself up. I don't know. It was to the point where I saw with a couple buddies. We walked out, and we're like, all we could talk about was like, why was The Rock so wet during the whole movie? Like, what was wrong with him?
Well, he's usually beating people up and fighting and running. Yeah. You know, I mean, except for I guess if he was doing like something where he wasn't doing that and he was sweaty, it might be a little.
Well, now
weird.
that the Fast and the Furious 6 he's going to be in, and they already confirmed 7's going to happen. And me and my buddy John Gibson, who's been on the show before, we have a deal that we're going to get tattoos at 9. If they make
what is
Fast
the
and the
tattoo?
Furious, anything we want, but we're going to get some kind of tattoo
Rock.
if they make Fast and the Furious 9.
It has to be rock related at least.
Yeah,
No,
it
because he
does.
wasn't in all of them. None of them have been in all of them actually.
Well, it has to be
true.
somebody that's played in The Rock, and it has to be their face.
It's just I'm just going to get the Rock on my back.
Sweating.
wonderful idea.
Sweating
A
exactly.
lot of sweat
yeah.
dripping
A lot
out,
of
like
sweat,
a pool
yeah.
of sweat underneath him. That'd be cool.
Speaking of giant muscles, I got Hulk hugs at WonderCon
sorry.
this weekend.
I thought that was for me.
No, I got to go to WonderCon on Saturday, and it was a wonderful experience. It was not as awesome as Kamikaze. If we were to do a leaderboard for my favorite comic book conventions, it's definitely below Kamikaze and below SDCC, though you can walk around, which was really nice. And I got to interview Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, nice.
That'll be coming up on therealstanley.com. And I got not one, not two, not three, but 4 hugs from Lou Ferrigno.
Of course you
Wow.
Which is the best thing ever because he's so giant. You just kind of like disappear into his like armpit, like side chest
But he's
area.
not that tall.
No, he's tall.
I saw him at the grocery store, and I was afraid to go
Well, you're
up
a
to him.
tall guy, Ryan.
Oh.
Uber.
Yeah.
How tall are you, Ryan?
That's Nathan. I'm
Nathan,
Ryan.
it's cool.
Damn it.
You got the last name right. Just call me Huber. It's cool. I'm just kidding. I'm 6'4".
Okay, so
So you're taller than most human beings.
Huge hog.
You're taller than
Big
most
guy.
of the world.
He's a big guy.
So you're saying he was
Alright.
short.
He seemed short to me.
Well, I think you're probably taller than him then.
Maybe.
'Cause a lot of actors are short and.
but he's at least 6 foot.
He's at least 6 feet.
He's
But
at least 6
But
feet.
like, I feel like if you're 6'3", 6'6", because I'm 6'1", and I have a couple friends that are around 6'4", 6'5", and they seem so tall to me.
Yeah.
That it's kind of daunting. I was standing near some friends that were all of them were super tall, and it was weird. Like I was like, you guys are all. I'm used to being a tall guy, but you guys are all so tall. So maybe that's why he seems short because he's just just at that height.
Yeah, a few inches makes a hell of a difference.
That's what she said.
I was just
It really does. Let's be real.
not going there, but yeah.
So Nathan Uber.
You just call him Nathan, you know? We're like, what the fuck? We're not in school, or it's not a job interview. Or
Well, no,
whatever.
because there's another Ryan in studio. I don't want people to confuse
Well, I'm
us.
sure if you say Ryan, they're not going to think
Ryan
you're talking to yourself.
Perdero.
Ryan's angry. Ryan's got to poop.
No, I get angry when I can't poop, okay?
We all do.
Yeah.
We all do.
It's just
Frustrating.
frustrating.
Let's cheese.
It's mostly like it's like a small terror of like I don't know what to do. Like I have no idea how to solve this problem.
Kale. Lots of kale.
It's just fear. Yeah, kale. Yeah, that pink stuff that you can take with a spoon.
I was just talking about
I
this
think
the
that
other
stuff
day.
makes you not poop.
Oh, I've been doing it wrong. I've
I'm
been
pretty sure
doing
the
it
pink
really
stuff
wrong.
makes you don't poop.
I was just talking about this the other day. Like 5 years ago, kale farmers, they did nothing, did they? They were just sitting around with their thumb up the ass going, look how awesome kale looks when you're on shrooms. But,
Now they're just raking it in. They're,
5 years ago, I didn't even like kale.
I didn't even know it existed.
yeah, I didn't either know it
I
existed.
just recently started liking it because everyone told me to like it.
Yeah.
I still don't like it. It tastes like chemicals.
Hey,
to me.
if you're a fan of kale, I highly recommend Robex Juice has 3 new flavors of kale smoothies, and one is called like Tropicale. It is like the best
Well-
drink if you want to get kale in you and you don't like kale.
I'm sorry.
I don't like kale. I'm not gonna drink it.
Yeah, I was just warned that my roommate happens to be a qualified chef, like head chef type.
Oh, I
And-
thought you meant for a second like just barely below, like just qualified.
No, he's like 22 years old, but he's already like a head chef. It's
Oh, that's
crazy.
awesome.
He was just telling me yesterday that when you're eating your kale, you should only eat it if it's cooked. because if it's not been cooked, so we might want to look into that with the smoothie if they cook it before they put it in there, because there's a lot of things that can kind of harm you.
Yeah, what about kale salad though? That's like one of the biggest things in the world.
I know.
Well, they usually cook kale salad. They put a lot of lemon juice on it.
Oh yeah,
So the lemon juice would cook it. Yeah. Oh, maybe that's why all those. That's why it's usually when I have kale, it's always so like soppy with other stuff.
Wow. I don't think you'd die, but I know it could potentially cause you some discomfort over time. Maybe.
Everything like is it gonna make you gassy?
There's a lot of things that make me gassy.
So you don't really know. You haven't been able to pick them all out.
Yes, I just said that to everyone out there.
It's probably just more acceptable to things like what's that shit when you have like raw chicken, Selma Hayek disease.
It's Selma Hayek, yeah.
Where you get fat and marry a billionaire?
Yeah.
That's a good disease
Is
to
that what she
have.
did?
Yeah.
I haven't seen her for a while.
Yeah, because she married a billionaire. She doesn't have to do anything except for make babies.
Oh, so yeah, she didn't get fat before she married the billionaire. I was just wondering, how does that
No, I think she got... Maybe she was pregnant. I'm not sure. So I have Nathan and Ryan on because they make technology and they make music, and their music led into them making technology. Tell me about it.
You want to go ahead, Ryan? I don't want to.
Yeah, well, let's see. We have this band called Kid Infinity, and in 2010 we started doing 3D shows for our band. Yeah, kind of crazy.
And they were the music that we listened to when the show started. So it's,
that was you guys?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say we didn't say who it was, but I was like, that's a cool song, and I just saved it to my YouTube so I could download it later. I had no idea. That's badass, man.
Yeah. So we started started doing these shows where basically we give the audience 3D glasses, and then we have a video screen behind us, and then while we play, the visuals are synced to the music, and they come flying out around us and like float over the audience, and it's very trippy.
And you got the video screen from Michael Jackson, is that correct?
Well, that's Nate. Why don't you take over on that?
That's like probably one of the most misunderstood things about this. The company that I was working for at the time, where I was learning, is a research and development company that was developing 3D technology, whether it was camera rigs or display technologies for televisions. There was a gentleman by the name of Bradley Nelson, who's like probably one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, and he's a brilliant engineer, and he was responsible for developing the LED wall, the first ever 3D LED wall that was built for the Michael Jackson "This Is It" tour that was supposed to happen at the O2 Arena. So they built this 90 by 30 foot giant 3D LED wall, and they were rehearsing. What was the initial cost just in the R&D and the actual construction of the very first 3D LED wall? Insanely ridiculous. Like ballparkish.
All of the money.
All of the money?
All of the money.
Millions of dollars went into it. Like, I don't have a specific number, but I can tell you it was a lot of money.
And was that original wall still going to be like a glasses-based thing, or like a non-glass? Okay.
Yeah. I'll get into the non-glasses thing in a second. That's so basically, Michael, they convinced Michael to do it. They brought him into the studio, showed him, they built this smaller prototype size thing, and then they pulled out some 3D stuff, and they had this like crazy manta ray in 3D flying through a tunnel or something, and they made the tail go way out, so it kind of poked him in the nose, and he was all like, "Oh!" My version of the story, like no disrespect, Michael Jackson was awesome. And he was totally into it, and so they got into it. A whole bunch of companies combined. It was Kerner Optical at the time, which was a part of ILM, and so that was all built. But then it didn't go out because he died like 15 days or 18 days before it was supposed to ship out. Oof. So no one got to see this awesome, crazy thing, and but it was the use of it still was kind of I don't know if it was necessarily. It was going to be the first time it was ever done. Mm-hmm. So, they were making videos and stuff and movies, and they remade this like thriller 3D thing with these ghosts and ghouls sticking like knives out of the screen and stuff. It was cool. But really
mostly the 3D was saved for costume changes in between songs. So the 3D wasn't really going to be implemented much
during the show,
during the actual performance,
as much as it could have been.
Right.
And so I went to the CEO of our company when I was working there, and we were doing 3D video game conversions. So we were like taking any video game and like making it 3D. It was really fun, and so we'd do it on this big screen. And one of the times the guys walked in, and
For Sony, I assume. A lot of it.
No, it was all just for the company that I was working at the time.
Where are those 3D games then? Where are they now?
They're already. All games are 3D.
Oh, really?
Already.
What?
You just have to.
Yeah, you have to get like Nvidia has glasses for
Yeah.
gaming 3D.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of companies that.
Yeah, there's a bunch of software companies. Basically, it's already there. All the information's there. You just have to pull
All of
it
the
out of the game.
games?
Yeah, most. So,
Well, not
first,
like Mario. Like,
but like, well, almost
from the
all
80s.
first-party Sony or PlayStation 3 games support like the Sony 3D TVs and all that kind of stuff. So,
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
In fact, lately I'm not a gamer, but I've turned into one, and I'm playing Call of Duty.
I actually
In
have
3D.
played. Yeah, I play Call of Duty. I have a 3D TV, and that's the only game I've ever played in 3D. And when you're looking down the scope and it goes down like that barrel, you're like, wow, that's badass.
And honestly, I would love to talk to some people there because they're doing the 3D conversion wrong.
Really?
It's not a comfortable 3D. There's an easy way to fix that, and I would love to
we can
tell
hook you up.
them
I can
totally hook
how
you
to
up.
fix
Yeah.
that. If they probably already know, but they're not doing it for some reason because there's vertical offset in the corners because of it's a complicated, not that complicated. But I don't wanna
It's
go
probably
into it.
an investment to
If
market
you want to
thing.
get deep
Like
with
real
the
deep?
nerd here, I am now allowing that to happen. I'm just saying.
Okay, let's do this.
I'm just saying we could talk with
Let's
them
rot on
about
this.
how to better convert the games. I mean, you can still do it good, but it causes eye strain that gives people headaches, and that's not helping further the 3D movement in any way.
If you're really passionate about it, I can definitely connect you with Dan, the guy who runs their multiplayer department, or something like that. And I think
Yes, that'd be
they
cool,
probably love
actually.
that kind of stuff because
Yeah.
they for them they're probably like, well, we're going to put this in, but we have to focus on other stuff, and they probably don't have time to
Right.
actually
Right.
like sink into the investment of seeing if they're doing it properly or not. Because there's
That's
so
the way
many
it is
other
with
things that
so much of the 3D stuff that's going on these days. Is people just aren't
They just
taking
get it
the
out.
time.
They throw it
to-
out there without.
Yeah, it's just kind of like an afterthought.
Which is unfortunate because when it's done right, like, everyone at first with 3D was like, oh, whatever, But when I saw Life of Pi in 3D, I was
Oh, my God,
taken. I was completely taken aback. It was. I mean, that was
was
my favorite
fantastic,
movie of 2012.
fantastic, yeah.
And if I had not seen that in 3D, I would have been pissed. Like, it
Yeah.
is so much better in 3D.
Yeah.
They contacted our company before they made that movie, and were asking us for advice on that because it was originally he was going to shoot it anamorphic, which is
Right.
not a good thing to do.
Super
in
So
3D.
tell me, I don't know what you mean when you say anamorphic. Anamorphic as to
it's-
versus what?
It's like where if there's different scales of screens. Like there's in projection terms, there's flat, which is like a square almost. Then there's like letterbox.
Okay.
And then isn't anamorphic the one that's really skinny and long?
Yeah.
Which like Gone with the Wind or something like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and it's not technically if you were to put it in digital terms, the pixels aren't square and anamorphic, right?
Right, they're squished.
Squished,
Yeah.
Why do people even like that then?
You can. It's cheaper for memory though, right? Like especially in digital terms, like you can shoot.
Yeah,
a
and
smaller
it was also
frame
much
size,
cheaper on film back in the day.
Yeah, yeah.
They would squish the
Stereoscope.
image.
and then stretch
Yeah,
it
and
back
then
out.
stretch it out
Oh,
with the
using
lens
lenses, yeah.
and projection.
Yeah, 'cause otherwise your film would have to be like twice as wide.
Yeah, you'd be using a lot less film.
And the lenses that you have to use for those.
Well, I think one of the big reasons a lot of people don't know this is that back in the day, the audio information was also stored on the film. Like the Dolby Digital was stored on left and right side of the film. So when
It
when
still is kind of.
no, well, everything's
They
pretty
don't
much digital at
use
this
film
point.
anymore, yeah, pretty
but back 10, 15 years ago, when you played the film, there wasn't like someone hitting play on an audio track. The audio information was on the film too.
Yeah, but they still have films with the audio track.
Oh
on
yeah,
it.
I mean, I'm sure that she'll
with-
show it that way, but most stuff is now
Yeah,
just
yeah.
digital because of the distribution methods.
Yeah. Another thing about 3D is that not only are companies not maybe using it right and stuff like that, but as a 3D TV owner, I get so mad when I talk to people and they're like, I hate 3D, it gives me headaches. And then you realize that there's settings in your TV that you should know about.
Right,
Because like
right.
the first day I was kind of bummed about it, but then I'm like, oh wait, what's this do? Bam, it fixed it. And it was
Right.
deep in like this menu hidden and stuff like that. Do you see like that all these like speed bumps almost in the technology? Is it frustrating for you guys? Is there,
Well, one of the big problems with that kind of thing, like all these little adjustments that you can make on your TV and all these things that people don't know about, it's because there aren't enough standards in the 3D industry.
none.
You need a Herbert
Yeah.
Hoover to come in
Yeah,
and
well-
standardize the industry.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
disciple.
It's trying to happen naturally, but there's a lot
It
of...
can't because there's
So
too many different
everyone's doing
companies.
it differently. So many people are doing different different approaches, and then you have people that are put out a TV that tries to encompass all of the different
And that's not gonna work,
formats.
yeah.
And then you have to like read a book or something to know what all of them mean and how to use them and which one's the right one for what you're watching.
I watched your music video on YouTube
The 3D
today.
one?
The 3D one.
Oh, cool.
Yes,
And-
I did too.
And there's like 100 options of different ways to watch it in 3D. I actually watched
Right.
it in where you cross your eyes and watch it in 3D
Oh,
without
no.
glasses. 'Cause I didn't have any 3D glasses, but I wanted to see it. It still kind of worked, but I was kind of afterwards. I was kind of like, "What the fuck?" But it's someone's knocking on the door.
I have a 3D Alienware. I would have brought it over.
the 3D
tonight
screen.
we could have watched
Yeah,
it with the glasses and everything like
Well,
that.
if you had looked at the show notes that I sent you, you would have.
So tell me about the because YouTube 3D is pretty interesting to me because these guys they're trying to bring it to the mass market.
Right,
And
right.
Be the way as always.
So when you guys uploaded your film, did you guys get to upload a 3D version, or is that all auto converted by?
No,
No,
YouTube?
we uploaded it in 3D.
And
We
then-
shot it in 3D and uploaded it.
And then you tell YouTube what versions it works for and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, we basically, the the standard for the most basic standard for any kind of 3D content is just two images, left
Right,
eye and right
right.
eye, and so we just uploaded both of those, and then they convert them into all of the different
Which is
options of interlaced
pretty-
or checkerboard.
pretty
or-
cool, actually.
And do they do a pretty good job of it?
Google's pretty
They do an
cool.
all right job.
Yeah.
Yeah, the resolution could be a little better, but
Well, that's not
Because you guys are
it's not
technically
3D's
uploading
fault.
two videos, right?
That's just the bandwidth and how they do their thing, with their H.264 conversions.
Is there a certain company that you think is doing it right, like a Samsung or a Sony, that you're like, you know what, they're
I
doing
like
the-
LG.
LG's doing
LG.
pretty good. Actually, Brad Nelson, the guy that was my mentor, still is my mentor, was one of the first 3D television inventors with the first passive polarized television set. And
What is passive polarized?
that's
babe?
what, like, if you got a TV that has battery powered glasses, active. Passive is not battery powered because the
'Cause
battery
my
ones flicker and there's all kinds of stupid
That's why I
stuff
never
about it.
used my Samsung glasses was because they were battery powered.
Battery
I was
powered's
like,
no
oh,
good.
this is
Yeah, no,
stupid.
they're heavy
they're like
and
$100 a
and they're
piece.
way
It's
overpriced.
ridiculous.
It's not worth it.
It's
Yeah.
and the reason that
Stupid.
happened was because they didn't want to go with Brad's design because it was actually remaking some of the guts of the television, and they wanted to cut the they wanted to make more money
With an
not
active TV, all they have to do is just change
adjust
the
the-
refresh rate
yeah.
on the
it's
TV.
a flicker rate, so they're not really having to change.
So they don't have to
something.
actually like change the polarization of the.
And they make way
pixels.
more money. It was all financial, and it was actually, I think, negative for the whole 3D.
You would make things
launch.
accessible. I mean, that's the thing is that if it's really expensive, not so many people are going to jump into the game.
right,
Exactly.
right.
It-
Yeah, there's a lot of
and
things
that's
that have really.
that's the biggest problem with 3D is its fragmentation. There's
Yep.
like, what kind am I going to get? What
Yep.
kind are you going to get? If you guys, since you guys do this, if you guys had your way of like, if you could standardize this right now, which it needs to happen if it wants to continue being a mass market product, what would you guys pick?
Well, I think there's a number of things. I've thought about this before, actually. I don't want to come off like I'm some genius thing, but this is
Please do.
the education I have and what I know is.
Tell people a little bit about your background because you have a pretty deep background working in 3D.
Well, it's just
Back into-
it's like it's not really that I studied 3D. I was a film student, which was a waste of money. But I just kind of stumbled into the R&D work at this company, and these people are so good and so smart and so honest that you can just ask them anything you have in your mind, whether it's something about the space-time continuum or just stupid 3D stuff. They would just give me all the information I needed, and I was hands-on the whole time. So I just picked up a lot, and they were in every aspect of 3D, whether it was the image capture with the camera rigs,
Right.
developing that kind of stuff, to generating in 3D through like animation and whatnot, and graphic visual effects, to live displays, to projection systems and lenses, and so I kind of got the whole spectrum of that. And I guess that's where it all came from.
So if you had to choose one, then, or like what he said,
The
what
one ring
form-
to rule them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's so simple. Right now, everyone could be sending out 3D signals without charging any extra money or anything. It's very simple. There's
Well, like ESPN has been trying that. They've been really digging into that.
and they had stumbling blocks too because when they started shooting everything, they were having uneducated camera operators. So you'd have interocular adjustments that were bad, or you'd have like interocular is the separation of the lenses. So they would be cutting to shots where the IO was really wide, and then they'd cut to another shot where it was really narrow, and that's really hard on your eyes, and it gives you eye strain. Also, they would be shooting where they'd have frame errors because they'd have someone in the foreground where in one eye you saw his shoulder, and in the other eye you didn't see his shoulder, and it really messes with your brain. Yeah.
And especially with moving fast in sports, I bet that really amps it up.
So they jumped in before they were ready, and then the other thing was they were wasting money because they felt like they needed to have a 2D camera crew and a 3D camera crew, not realizing that a 3D camera crew is already a 2D camera crew.
They actually just turn off one of the eyes.
And, well, they actually got some shit for this because they brought all those camera crews to the X Games, and there were so many, like when they're trying to film like skating in the park and stuff like that, they're getting in the way of the athletes because they had like twice as many cameramen
They don't
as they
need
needed.
that. It's so ridiculous. It was like everyone was trying to jump into the starting gate, make the first one in, but doing it poorly, and then people get headaches, people get frustrated, things don't go well, budgets go sky high, and everyone gets a sour taste in their mouth. But the fact of the matter is, it's not going away. 3D is just like sound to film or color to film. It's the next step. Our lives are viewed with two eyes. We see 3D all day. Why do we got to watch movies with one eye closed to have it? It's stupid. So
depth is the next generation of movies,
and it'll be on the internet, and it'll
the next
be
generation of everything.
It's gonna be all entertainment and everything visual and digital should be in 3-dimensional space.
And here's another argument
retain
also
more
really quick
information
for the whole idea that, because so many people are always saying like, well, 3D gives me headaches and it bugs me, and there's just something about 3D, I just don't like 3D. I'm just like, every day you walk around 24 hours a day looking at 3D. Yeah. You got two eyes.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if everything was just like a mirror or something?
Well, because I'm sure you guys have thoughts on this, but I saw The Hobbit in 3D at 48 frames a second, and at first I was like, no. But by the end, I was like, yes. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, it was really cool. Like, it really was.
So, I want to derail you guys. What do you know about the 3D porn channel, Penthouse's porn channel in Europe?
Honestly, I don't know anything about it. I haven't seen it. I'm just, I know that as anything, porn always leads the way and makes things happen. So go porn. Go porn. Someone's got to carry the flag. Might as well be.
There's a full 100% 3D adult channel in Europe, and it's all Penthouse. And I know that's because
nobody's got time for that. No one wants to see 3D porn. What, any of these 3D herpes? I mean, like what?
There's 3D porn on the internet
3D
already.
porn's
too.
way better.
It's already out
It's
there.
way better.
Well, because they shot that. They also shot a porn on the Phantom. That was the first step where they shot at what was it, 240 frames a second or something like that.
No way.
In Japan, the porn movie broke records for the. There was a movie that made more than Avatar or something, and it was in Japan. And it was 3D porn in theaters.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yep.
That culture is so obsessed with sex, but it's so prude. It's so interesting.
Yeah, it's
I've been
really
there.
weird.
I've been there a bunch
Japan
of times,
is the
and it is super weird about that.
Yeah.
So another question I have for you guys about 3D is...
I love how we haven't fully answered really any of your... We keep
well, no, but
it's ADD, right?
Is cinematography different with 3D? I mean, obviously it would be
way different,
but is it really that much different? Editing too,
editing and also pre-visualization of shots.
Just thinking about how
you're going to set them up.
Yeah, that's
users.
why. I mean, watch something like Life of Pi, and then watch The Hobbit, because actually The Hobbit, although I enjoyed it, the 3D wasn't that great. It was just really plain. It's as if he just shot the movie in 2D and just kind of like the 3D camera was there, so he was like, whatever. He didn't
felt
plan
like gimmicky.
it.
I mean, it was cool, but it felt gimmicky.
But it wasn't designed for 3D. You know, like Avatar and Life of Pi are my two favorites for 3D films, because they were it was like articulated, you know? Yeah. It was like really thought out, designed for 3D.
What was the first one? I'm sorry.
Avatar.
I
mean, Avatar was like
Ferngully Live.
Movie wise, it was okay, but like Life of Pi is like 2D or 3D is just a fantastic film. Yeah. But then you throw in probably some of the best CG in the history of movies, and probably, in my opinion, I would say How to Train Your Dragon is also one of the great.
That's a great
3D movie. There's a scene at the end where there's a bunch of
flying.
ash. There's a bunch of ash falling down with like the giant dragon background. Yep. I remember seeing that going, oh my god, this is better than Avatar, and this is like a DreamWorks CG movie.
That's what we're doing for Primus. Stuff
You're doing
like
a CG style stuff, or
well, yeah, I generate like computer graphics for Primus for their 3D tour.
So
Oh, God, that'd
their
be weird and
company
awesome.
is 3dliveevents.com. And tell us a little bit about what you guys do with that.
Well, it's basically just like Ryan was saying. What we started doing with our band is immersing performers in a 3D environment, so that while they're performing, for instance, there's some stuff where Primus is crazy on or
Well,
Les
explain
is-
really quick that we do a show for Primus. There's this band called
right.
Primus.
Yeah,
They're
the-
rad.
Heard of them?
You guys remember them?
yeah, oh yeah.
And-
I had Sailing the Seas of Cheese on cassette tape, and I listened to
Nice.
it nonstop for about 4 months.
There's a special new release of that actually about to happen
What?
with the tour they're doing
What?
starting in a couple weeks.
Actually, at one point, I was pretty good at mimicking their very authentic guitar style. I was like wonka wonka wonka. Like I kind of started getting good. You know what I mean? Like it's like they have such
I
a
think we've all done that.
they have such
right?
an iconic guitar style. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we because of our connection with the last company we're working with, there was a relationship with Les Claypool, and he's very into doing new things. He's very intelligent, awesome, very smart, so talented. Like I have so much respect for Les.
He's a true artist.
Yeah,
Totally.
exactly. So he wanted to do 3D, and we were recommended, and so we've been doing it for his band, the first ever 3D tour. So we back in September and October we were touring through East Coast U.S., but we came all the way out to Colorado at some point, and in about 3 more weeks we're going to leave for a West Coast tour, and we'll go up to Canada and through Washington and stuff. You can check it out on primusville.com. Giving you a plug, Les.
That sounds. I imagine a Primus show is really weird, and then adding Les Claypool's vision of 3D into that. Like, tell me about working with Les.
Well, it's not like I rub elbows with him too much.
How does the process work from Les Claypool and Primus decide that they are going to add 3D into the show, you get hired, and then what happens? Or with any band that comes to you?
Basically, we do what happened was we will set up a demo, like a presentation of some of the stuff we've done for our band, and other stuff we've just been building. And
Kid
whatnot.
Infinity.
Yeah, and so they came out to a studio and we sat down and showed it to him. And I was like, "All right, man, looks good." And he wanted to.
Does he actually talk like he sings?
Dude, yeah, he's he's a really smart guy. He knows exactly what he wants. He's very
We just show a bunch of different options and different ideas that we've been working on, and be like, I'm more
he likes
into
that. I
that
don't
style
like
or
that.
not
Don't
that
show
style.
that ever again.
And are you guys fully kind of producing the whole 3D experience then?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, basically the whole tour, because it was a very short notice kind of thing. While I was on the bus, the whole time I was on this laptop just making stuff,
Making 3D stuff.
all day long, just
And are you guys going on tour with them then?
yeah, I go out with them.
That's pretty cool.
At this point,
That's
is it
pretty
because
cool.
the tech is so new and so fresh, you want to watch it?
Yeah, I want to.
You guys you're like that's the whole time. You're like, "Oh."
Sort of like my baby.
Well, and not very many people know how to do it, really.
Yeah.
So it's like
You guys have a little market cornered, which is great.
I just want
Yeah,
to
at
make
the
sure
moment.
that when it's out there, and if it's something that I'm doing, that it's as good as it can possibly be,
Yeah.
and people aren't complaining. I don't want anyone sick. I don't want anybody with a headache. I want them all to enjoy themselves.
I could just imagine how many bands that just in my head that I wish would, like different electronic bands, almost
Yeah,
like
yeah.
just going to a rave and with my
Oh,
friend
man.
Molly, and seeing something like this. It would just, there's so many
Yeah.
things that in my head I can't imagine. Like Nine Inch Nails would be another one that would be
or
amazing. in 3D.
Tool's famous for their productions
Oh,
on
yeah.
stage.
Yeah.
Or
Tool would be
I don't know if you
nuts.
guys know the band Mew. They have crazy video productions behind them of to the point where it's all synced up with the singer. He never misses a beat. So there's these crazy animatronic babies on video singing, and he's singing perfectly with them. And I just imagine seeing that in 3D, going, "Oh my god!" I would be blown away.
I don't know. if
It's
you
a
guys-
totally different experience too when you have live 3D in a live setting. It's
Right.
way different than
Oh, I'm
just
sure.
sitting and watching a movie.
Because there's the depth of the stage plus what's on screen.
Right.
Is it bad that sometimes I wear my 3D glasses over my regular glasses?
No,
I
that's
have to,
perfect.
or I can't see.
That's perfect.
yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
You can actually get prescription circular polarized glasses.
I might do that someday. Whatever technology finally comes up with whatever standard finally happens. Well, let me ask you
Passive
this.
will be the standard, but
you don't think it'll be the kind of lenticular 3D glassesless 3D?
No, that's the
Okay,
inevitable.
For the lay people, quickly do a brief explaining of.
I'm gonna let these guys do it. I'll let these guys do
The
it.
auto stereo display is what this gentleman is referring to.
That means no glasses.
Yeah,
No
that's
glasses at all.
That's
the 3DS, the Nintendo 3DS.
Yeah, but that's and here's the thing about that stuff. It's definitely going to be the standard
Someday.
Not that
Not
it
for a while.
will necessarily be lenticular.
Or however they do it.
And what does lenticular mean again? That means
It's
no.
two-
gla-
That's like those
images out.
baseball cards you used to get as a kid, and you'd like move them around, and they
Yeah.
like
Like
the
a
guy
sweet
would
hologram?
swing. And
Yeah. Oh,
stickers
man.
like that.
It's,
Yeah.
When you say not for a while, are you saying like 10 years?
Well,
Well, it depends on if people decide that it's something that they really want to do and they start funding it. Because it has to be built and it has to be
Kickstarter.
designed and it has to,
and it has to be better than it is right now. Unfortunately, because it's lenticular, it's got limitations built into
As
it.
soon as the problem is that the viewing angle is so bad that
Yeah.
I've seen beyond the 3DS is the most
Yeah.
popular example, but I've seen
television.
displays from I think Sharp at
Yeah.
at
Originally-
CES, and it was great if you stood
Right.
exactly where they wanted
Yeah,
you
exactly.
And
If
actually-
you move your head this far,
to.
you're like,
Yeah, it got weird. Yeah.
There's a new tech that's coming out that there's something like 35 different points of view now, and it's in development right now. They've been doing displays that are single images, but they're working on the moving images. The only thing is it's super complicated because again it's relying on lenticular technology,
Right.
and lenticular technology is awesome. However, it is not necessarily, in my opinion, not that I know of a much better solution. The best option for creating a parallax barrier without glasses.
So eventually this will happen, but until then, we're going to be sticking with the glasses.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be passive. It has to be passive because it's most comfortable. It's not dangerous. It doesn't hurt your eyes. And
you don't have to spend $100 on a pair of glasses.
Yeah,
Right.
and it's
well,
inexpensive.
active glasses for like a concert would be ridiculous.
Well,
And it's just
thousands of people you're going to pay for $100 per
uncomfortable.
glass.
Well, I used to be a technology journalist, and I went to the CES where it was the big year where they're like 3D, and at that point, they were treating 3D as a way to sell TVs because there's no other selling features.
And what kind of TVs were the most ones on the market? Active.
It was active, and they're like
awful.
and they wanted me to go back and give them a good review of a TV that for a family of 4, and you want after you spend $4,000 on your TV, you find out you have to spend $400
You're going to
more
throw
on
a
just
Super Bowl
glasses.
party, then you
Yeah.
got to take another $2,000.
Exactly. What happens if one person comes over? You have to buy another pair of glasses.
And
for
they're
$100.
uncomfortable. They're heavy. They flicker, and there's a risk of seizure potentially. It's stupid.
Wait, what?
Really?
Yeah, well, the flicker factor.
Oh, I
Yeah.
suppose. Yeah, it's just like an
It's-
Japanese anime or
It's
whatever.
totally
was
retarded,
happening,
and it's all because they're trying to make more money, and it's not good for the. It's not good for the.
Force features.
Unsafe.
Force
everything in this-
irresponsible. That's irresponsible.
Our
Flat-
government, everyone does stuff stupidly for money. It's part of human life, I think, unfortunately. But
Yeah.
Did you spend the $400 to get Avatar when it first came out, and you had to buy it in the bundle
No.
pack, in the 3D pack? I was
No.
so tempted. So I even thought about shoplifting at one point. I was at Best Buy, and I'm like, I haven't shoplifted in 25 years.
do it for Avatar.
Yeah,
It'd
do it
be
for
hilarious.
Avatar. So when you guys do your shows, then you guys hand out the passive. Do you guys just do the paper, the?
No. We have plastic ones.
They're
like,
cute,
like what
too.
you get at a movie theater.
Oh, and then you guys just recollect them at the end and all
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So
There you
I
go.
saw.
Like this.
Oh, nice. Oh, they're very stylish. Hang
Oh,
on,
thank
hold
you.
on.
That's what I used for Peter Parker's glasses
for
for
the-
Halloween.
That's like one kind.
yeah.
There's all you can do anything you'd like if you have crazy amounts
How
of
do I
money.
look?
Looks
You
good.
guys are all in 3D now. It's weird. Before I saw you guys in 2D.
See, it even has our little company name there on the side.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool.
I think this is so exciting. So I wanted to ask you about because the way our friend Lenora Claire introduced me to Ryan and Nathan.
She introduces everyone.
She does. She totally does.
She's awesome.
So Lenora was like, so they're not the Tupac hologram company, but they do something else that's
Right.
3D and cool.
Right.
So tell me about. So you said that
The Tupac hologram was not 3D and it was not a hologram.
Yeah, it's a complete
Yeah,
False.
It's really it's
Was it where they project a projector on the the half transparent sheet?
Yep.
Mylar.
Which is huge huge in Japan. They have entire like anime
Hatsune Miku
characters. Yeah, exactly.
It's just a projection. It's a 2D flat projection onto a piece of plastic, basically, that you can't
From the
see.
1800s.
And it's a trick that
That's when it was
is
invented.
literally was invented in the 1800s.
Like
it's what they have at
Magicians used to
Epcot
use it.
Center in Disneyland.
Yeah,
is what you
yeah,
said.
they still do it at Disneyland at the Haunted Mansion, and it's not 3D.
No.
So if you walk off to the side, it just turns flat.
Yeah.
It's like
Didn't they also have like side projections too? So like if you were on kind of a side angle, there was another projection that you saw. I thought that's what the case was.
The Japanese one, apparently it's a triangle, and they have it at 3 different angles, and then they have this whole like stadium around it.
Yeah.
But it isn't. Yeah, you guys are right. It's not 3D, and it also apparently doesn't work like in the daytime. It has to be nighttime so they can like blend in.
Right.
You can't do
and you
stage
can't
lighting.
even have a lot of stage lighting
Yeah.
because you'll wash out the projection.
Exactly.
It's not a very good technology.
It's called Musion, and everyone that I've talked
Got a
with
cool
so
name for
many
being a
different
bad
people.
technology.
Like when we did our 3D show back years ago, our first one.
And you guys were the first 3D show?
As far as we
know, there was like a virtual stage environment kind of a thing where it's not just something up on a screen over somebody. Like we actually immersed ourselves in 3D.
Yeah, interactive.
And it's like it reacts to the music. It's all a part of the. That was, I guess, so. I would say so. I don't know of anything else that's done that. But anyway,
Innovators here in the studio.
so after that, the phone was just like ringing off the hook. We actually got to meet Daft Punk.
Oh man, the
Yeah,
Kings.
it was pretty.
Got to privately perform for Daft Punk.
Oh
Did you
man.
get that fizzy feeling in the base of your penis?
Yeah. I get that when I'm late. That's amazing. Did you guys actually get to meet like the real Daft Punk, or were they masked
no
up?
masks.
Nice.
By the way, new
What?
album next month.
Yeah, new album.
I know. I'm so excited. And Panda Bear is supposed to be on this album. Have
you guys ever-
ridiculous?
Have you guys ever worked with Mike Realm? Do you guys know who Mike Realm is? He's like kind of the pioneer, one of the pioneer VJs, like remixing video stuff to do DJ stuff.
No, I've been wanting to get some help on this thing
I
because
think
it's kind of like
He's
exhausting.
a good dude, and he is like super good. We had an event years ago at Lead Up where he performed live, and it was mind blowing. It was
Cool.
all video remix and stuff like that. So I could see remixing plus 3D video remix on a huge wall. I mean, talk about
we should meet
mind
this
blowing.
guy. We
Yeah,
should meet
yeah,
this guy.
definitely. Yeah, you guys.
I'm
would,
down. Yeah,
I think you guys would fuse very well.
It would be cool because it gets way more complicated when it goes 3D, but there's totally things that could be done.
Right.
And I would love to get someone who's passionate about that.
I
If
think
anyone's listening, by the way, we're looking for passionate people to work with us because
And what about
Doing too
smell
many things
technology
right
on
now.
top of that?
And
Smell-o-vision. Yeah.
tell them what your Twitter is so how they can contact you if they are passionate and they are
Or
interested.
an
How can
email
they
or-
find you?
Well,
All right.
they can.
Go ahead.
Actually, the website may be the best way. They can just email us off 3dliveevents.com. But our
And 3 is the number.
3 the number, yes. 3D live.
Or you can
events.
check out Kid Infinity on Facebook.
I'm definitely
Yeah.
going to check
Or
it.
Nino Infinito. That's our Twitter.
Nino Infinito.
Oh yeah, that picture he's got up there right there. That's the
the
LED
wall.
wall right there, and you can
Oh,
see like what we were doing with our first show is we were immersing ourselves. We usually stand right there in the center, and those cubes would like fly
They
out.
looked like they were
and-
like,
Wow.
15
and
feet
be
over our
around
head.
us and over the audience and stuff.
That is so awesome. I can't even imagine. And you guys are doing the Primus one here in California very soon, right? Or,
I think we're coming through Pomona, and I think we're going down to the OC.
We
and
actually
then up to
we did
Napa Valley.
the Wiltern in December.
I live 4 blocks from there. Damn it! I've been waiting for a show that I can just walk to at the Wiltern.
Wait, when is it?
it was our.
Primus.
Oh!
Let me check it out. It's on the.
Cutbacks.
Let me check out their website, Primusville.
Primus. I just had it up.
So have you guys had have you guys had any adverse reactions to like a super drunk and high person in the crowd just be like, I
know-
can't handle this right now.
This was we were in Colorado. I don't remember what the venue was, but this guy was either on too many drugs and obviously mixing a lot of alcohol. He was right in front of you know how usually in an arena there's like a booth in the middle,
Yeah.
where the sound
Sound
lighting
guys,
guys, and
yep.
that's where we are, and there's a barricade around it. This dude totally just fell flat on his face.
What?
Like right in front of me, to this, and you know, everyone's kind of tripping out on the 3D the whole time because they're Primus fans, so they're either on drugs or they're drunk off their ass or they're
just that weird.
Yeah, I mean they're like into it.
Nothing at all.
They're like
fans.
glued to this wall, and like it's kind of scary because like, you know, if anything goes wrong, you know, everyone there is gonna like see it and like react to it. And that actually was a funny thing happened. So when we came to the Wiltern, when we played the Wiltern, Les wanted us to put on. He had this, you know, surprise kind of song he played, which was it was Black Sabbath.
Yeah. Can't remember the
God
name.
damn it, I can't. All right, well, it was a
Totally sweet Black Sabbath song.
Yeah,
And-
and totally
and-
sweet
and-
Black Sabbath.
and he
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
us to play this like this old animated Halloween video with this like, and it's a 3D movie that's like with chasing around this like spider and this like evil like
Ghost, like
ghosty thing, and it's still really corny as hell, but it actually worked really well with the Black Sabbath song.
yeah, it totally like synced up perfectly.
And so, but the only thing was, I had it on this old ass shitty computer that was, and I didn't have time to remake it the proper way to go onto the nice, sleek Macintosh right here. And so I had to play it off this old ass computer.
Like a 486 like, box. Like,
Seriously, it was
playing
awful.
Doom. Yeah.
and I played this file, and right towards the end of the song, like it repeated itself, and I think that just was too much for that computer. And then the blue screen of death
Oh,
for
Just
Windows
came up on the whole.
comes up, the error message,
BSOD,
everything,
yep.
and everyone fucking was laughing, which was kind of cool. But at the same time, it's like, God damn it! Like, but
the
it was
worst
cool.
thing
We
you
cut
want.
away.
Yeah, yeah.
We cut away back to some other 3D stuff, and it was cool, and it was kind of a funny laugh. But at the same time, like, I totally, you know, learned from that, and I'm never using that.
When you
computer
have
ever
like
again.
the Gaunch clench.
Probably looked
It was so awful.
It probably looked like it was done on purpose almost though.
The
'cause
back-
that's-
call that a
I
backdrop.
think maybe that's what they thought.
We did it on
so I'm
purpose.
cool with
It
it.
was a joke.
Yeah.
yeah, too bad
You know
you
what?
didn't have-
Actually, we should do that as a joke.
You guys should use some BSOD.
We should
And then
put
make it
that
go
in there.
3D.
Yeah, and then make it go.
And
3D.
then
that'd
you
be rad.
That'd be
should
sick.
rickroll the audience.
Yeah.
Totally
And
do
then
that,
have his
actually.
eyes come out. Yeah.
and have like that modem sound in the background.
Right.
Dude, I want to go to see this so bad.
Okay,
Like,
so
I'm
we're going to
jonesing
be
for
in
it.
Napa, May 9.
I was just in Napa. It's
Eureka, California, May
great. You guys are doing a
10.
show
Wait,
in
what?
Napa. That's
and
fantastic.
Pomona, May
You're gonna drink a lot
19.
of wine.
Ventura, May 21. Those and Bakersfield. We're going to be in Bakersfield, May 22.
Well, you know, if you do go to Eureka, that is where the
Oh,
West Coast Brewery
really?
is
Yeah.
that makes
Nice.
Great Right and a bunch of other
Delicious beer.
fabulous beers, and they sell growlers. I'm going to be in Eureka very shortly.
Growlers are with flowers, right?
Yes,
And they give you a headache if you don't drink it with something else, right?
Probably.
It's like alcohol cocaine, right?
no growlers are just the really
it's just
big
a basic
jugs.
jug of beer. It's like an old school jug of beer.
Oh, I was thinking of something else.
Something completely different.
I can't do
Okay.
cocaine anymore.
A different
No, it's
good
not
time.
cocaine. It's like the cocaine of alcohol or something.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
I want to try this.
It's-
It sounds like a
That
bad
reminds me. You know,
life
I had
choice.
this friend who was for a while there. He was. I guess they'd already actually done it. They just couldn't get it past the FDA. They made powdered beer.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
reduced beer.
What is
yeah,
with
in
the
a powder form. You just had to add water.
Weird.
Fuck.
So what is with the kids
Space
these
beer.
days and all these new designer drugs that I haven't tried, like the 2CEs and the Zen
They-
You haven't tried
So-
2CE?
Yeah. What they do is what they're
powdered beer.
so what they're doing is like they're bypassing laws. So basically, like there's a whole like group of chemists now who are into the drug culture that have graduated with like crazy chemistry degrees, and they start these online shops. and they basically they'll take a drug and they'll just genetically modify it just enough so it's no longer illegal, and then they can sell it online. So they basically are selling like straight up like real drugs online legally because they just modify it enough.
Now I just want
The
them to bring
chemical
back-
makeup is no longer
it's
All
illegal.
I
ridiculous.
want is Quaaludes. Like I have had real Quaaludes.
I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that
Yeah, I
is.
know, that's like
That's
Police
a
Academy days.
1960s, 1970s drug.
Police Academy 2, I think there was
How
Quaaludes
have
in
they
last.
not made a beer that doesn't give you a hangover?
Good fucking
Because that
question.
would mean no
So-
alcohol.
So in Minneapolis, where I'm from, this guy started this brewery called Two Gingers. The reason people drink Jameson and ginger ale is because the ginger ale helps your stomach, so you don't feel like shitty. So it's like half whiskey, half ginger ale, so you're counteracting.
Verner's
effect.
and Jameson's an awesome mixture. I stumbled upon it.
So
last
if
year.
he has a whiskey called Two Gingers where there's ginger right in the whiskey. So it's like theoretically, like it's going to help your stomach.
Does it
process
have the fizz?
No,
Oh,
it's
it's
not
just
ginger ale.
flat
It's just
ginger.
straight ginger.
You know
It's
what?
a ginger flavored whiskey. Yeah.
There's
It's okay.
there's this thing that's somebody gave me the other day. It's a hangover drink where you're supposed to drink it right before you go to bed, or you can drink it in the morning and it takes away your hangover. So I drink for like fucking a bottle of Jack a night sometimes. And so I drank one of those, and when I woke up, a horrible hangover. Drink another one in the morning. Drink two. You're not even supposed to do that. Yeah. And fucking that doesn't work. I think hangovers are really just how much you fucking
and it's per
poison your
person,
body.
too,
I don't think
because
there's like a secret to it.
I don't think bad
There is a
hangover.
secret. Coconut water.
Oh man.
Fuck that.
Yeah.
No, it's the truth.
2 full fat Cokes. 2 full fat Cokes and a banana. Like, I was a stripper on Bourbon Street. Do you understand what that means? It means that I
I
would
was
drink...
just on Bourbon Street.
I would drink 12 vodka
Stripping.
somethings on a normal shift. And then if I booked a champagne room, I would drink like another...
What's a champagne room?
It's where you don't get laid.
No, that's bullshit.
all of the-
No, it's true.
I thought all of them.
There's a whole song about that. There's
There's a
an
whole
entire
song.
song.
So
Ryan,
Ryan, you never fucking give a little hand job when you're
No.
in it? Yeah, right.
Gross. Nope.
Yeah.
Gross.
No.
I just take
But
like
no, I'm just saying that...
You do understand
in my
in 40 years we'll be
experience-
able to track your face and know that you're lying. Isn't that scary?
What?
We should all put bags on our face now. What are we doing?
How dare you impugn my character like that? Man, you take that back.
No. I'm saying that we could all in the future. There's going to be
And if
technology.
you could track my face, you would never know that I never gave a champagne room hand job. I am not that kind of girl.
Blowjob?
No.
no old fashioned.
God, 40 years from now, I'm calling you
I
you
would-
up with my hologram 3D face, and I'm going to be like, ah.
We had sheer curtains in our champagne room, and thank you very much.
Right.
But anyway, after drinking that heavily, the only thing that could get through is 2 full fat Cokes and a banana.
You never tried coconut water.
Now I do it, but
I can say
tell you why.
I can say I'm a C2O coconut water company sends me about 3-4 cases a month.
You
so
drink it?
my house has the most coconut water you'll ever been to. And if you want coconut
If
water,
you need to get rid
you
of
can
it,
have it. I think
I love coconut
I
water.
drink a lot.
dude, come by my house in Burbank. I'll hook you up with cases.
Hell
of it.
yeah.
I drink that shit every morning because I'm hungover.
And it works, doesn't it?
It's like water.
It's
you
an
know?
IV is what it is.
What it is, it's got those Gatorade things in it.
It's got
Coconut water is the...
You guys are
hold on, I got
overcomplicating
another
this.
piece of science for you guys. Coconut water is the only natural fluid that you can intravenously put in your body.
Yep.
Without having to filter it or anything.
Yep.
Because it has the same makeup of sodium, sugar, and stuff that your blood, very close to what your blood is.
It's like an IV, basically.
So it's like basically giving your, which is the
Like a
way to give
saline
yourself
IV, yeah.
a cure hangover. If you have an IV, that's the way you do it.
I just chug 2 glasses of water and I take some ibuprofen. I wake up right as rain. I'm great. No problem.
Well, you're...
Look at this. Look at this.
Redban's ready to go.
God! What the fuck? It's like Christmas. They gave me this, which is amazing.
Nathan Huber is always going to want to come back to
I-
set.
I feel like so at home here.
Yeah, that's a smoke can.
Tell them about this. This is
It's a grinder. Yeah, you put your weed in it. It's got a poker and a lighter place. It's pretty much got everything you
FM
want
radio.
to. Yeah, smoke can.
It's the Swiss Army knife of one-hitters.
Speaking of life hacks, I learned that you can open that kind of packaging with a can opener.
Yes.
That's
What?
true. Yeah.
I
good
just
one.
discovered
Yeah.
that. It's like the
Yeah.
best thing
It's-
ever.
I think it should be
Oh, yeah.
illegal.
I didn't
I think
know that.
clamshell packaging should be illegal.
I didn't know you
so,
did.
I have cut myself pretty badly on
It's
those.
a
in the
huge
past.
waste. And the only reason it exists is for
Frustration.
No, it's for like
No,
it's for
it's
mind
for-
share on a shelf. It's just for like try to make your package look as sexy as possible. Like just take a picture.
Oh well, I thought it was so people couldn't steal it as easily.
No, it's literally so you can see the product on the shelf, and so that's why Amazon when
Because they could just use a box.
exactly when Amazon I think they started an initiative where they kind of like banned it with like if you sell online like you have to sell it like a normal like if you ever got a package from Amazon it's all brown it's because they like there's no clamshell packaging allowed or it's not supposed to be anyways.
That's good. I like that. I support that.
Wow.
Can we talk about some non-bleeding edge technology for a minute?
Some comic books.
comic books and regular books. So a couple weeks ago, I talked about how I was reading a book to get through trying to navigate fitting both the universe of Foundation and the universe of Hyperion in my head. And I was like, oh, I'm just reading this like shitty young adult novel. And I kind of brushed it off. And then I got the second one and I read it in a day and promptly ordered the third one from Amazon. So even though...
So you stopped reading
I still
Hyperion,
am.
one of the greatest sci-fi books. Okay.
I will hit you. No, I needed a break. My brain needed a rest. Those are two very large universes that are both being told by multiple character points and point of views. So it's a lot to fit in one's brain. It really is. And then I'm also reading Martha Stewart, but that's a whole other story.
It's a good thing.
It is. So A Million Suns is the follow-up to Across the Universe. It's very light reading. It is, if you want a sci-fi beach read as we are approaching the summer months here in Los Angeles.
Which is all year round.
Just all year round. If you need like a beach read, start with Across the Universe and go into A Million Suns. I'm going to get the third one soon. It's really, really, really fun and good.
Is it big font or small font? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm afraid of small font.
That's what the good thing about Kindles and stuff
there's
nowadays.
like good spacing too.
Yeah.
Double space.
Thank God for that.
I finished that book in a day.
Yeah, I'm scared of like the really busy pages.
Yeah.
With, like,
Well, if
a
you're
lot of
scared of
words.
that, you should read comic books because there's
Oh, yeah.
pictures.
No, I love pictures.
So I am a huge Paul Pope fan, but if any other Paul Pope fans are listening, they know that he does not release a bunch of stuff because he does all the writing himself and he does all the art himself. He does allow colorists to work on it, but generally it's an all Paul Pope production, which means that he's been putting out comic books since he was 22 in the 90s, and he still has a very short stack of available content.
But is the quality high on all of it?
It is spectacularly
That's
high.
why.
Did you guys go to Zine Fest this year?
No.
Negative.
Oh,
Yeah.
next year.
Next year.
Zine Fest.
You check it out. It's
We got
all
a hot
these.
date.
It's all these like DIY zine kids, and they do some amazing.
Well, that's
stuff.
how Paul Pope started. Was that he self-published, and then he got, and this is in the 90s when like Image was just coming out, and then he got the recognition of some bigger brands, and he ended up doing like manga in Japan, and had a really amazing career. And some of the favorites that I've talked about before on the podcast are 100%, Heavy Liquid, and Batman Year 100, which is this super bizarre science fiction take on Batman. Heavy Liquid is a cool variation on the drug story, and 100% has one of my favorite female protagonists because he does a good job of creating compelling, interesting female characters, which is rare. In his comic books, they aren't the women aren't just eye candy. They have like personalities and character
I
development.
haven't seen any boobs yet. I've gone through like a lot of pages.
So he just came out with it's kind of a collection. It's called the One Trick Ripoff plus some deep cuts. So it's a selection of his work over I think it's maybe about 10 years. And it's in a couple of different styles. Yeah, it's a decade-long collection from the 90s to 2001, and it also notates where he was living when he wrote the books. He lived all over the world and was obviously influenced by the local comic book culture. And it's a wonderful collection. Someone's called it an odds and sods collection, which I strongly disagree with. I just think that it's a beautiful book that shows the evolution of an artist.
A moving narrative of, what does this say? A moving narrative of violence and hope.
Yes.
Nope.
Which is very similar to what I'm currently experiencing. It's a game called BioShock Infinite.
Well, two more seconds. I just want to say that
Found a boob.
two more seconds. I just want to say that it's beautiful and it's sexy. And if you ever liked, I'm obsessed with 90s road trip movies, whether it's something like Thursday or Natural Born Killers or True Romance. It's definitely
True
got that
Romance.
like 90s action adventure
They were
romance
so
vibe.
good. So good.
So I love Paul Pope across the board. I love this new book, the One Trick Ripoff, plus some deep cuts.
Is that the one, out of all these, which one would you recommend for the readers out there?
I think 100% is a good place to start. Though, and if you love Batman, you have to get Batman Year 100 because it's weird. It's super weird.
It looks super bizarre.
It
This
looks
is getting
weird
really
from
sexy towards
here.
the center.
Yeah, you think Yeah. You think like Frank Miller's take on Batman is bizarre and awesome, and then you read Paul Pope's take on Batman.
Yeah,
You're like,
it's like
oh fuck,
different universe.
You exploded my brain, and I love it. And he fights Superman in it.
Whoa.
It's always the best. The Superman Batman fights are always
The
great.
best. Yeah.
Because it's David versus Goliath. It really is.
Yeah. It's a beautiful moment. So tell us about BioShock.
So I've been playing BioShock Infinite, which is the spiritual successor to BioShock. I don't really consider BioShock 2 the game that followed up BioShock because it was written by somebody different and developed by somebody different. But for those of you who don't know, BioShock Infinite is the next game from Ken Levine and his Irrational
I
Studios.
didn't know the second one wasn't.
The second one is not made by them.
Are they doing the Call of Duty thing, or did they just make a
That
mistake?
was kind of basically like 2K going, we need to make another BioShock game to capitalize on the
like a Call of
franchise success. Yeah. So, but they kind of this game is them doing. It's BioShock, but it's a completely different game, different everything, different setting. So Ken Levine writes probably some of the best narrative in games. Like when you play his games, the 99.9% of the other games out there just cannot tell a story. Like this is an experience that's beyond most movies in a lot of ways. This game takes place in a floating city called Columbia in about 1912, and they deal with a lot of heavy issues like race, slavery,
Floating in the sky or floating in the
Whoa.
sea?
Floating in the sky.
You have to enter your
What?
age to
Is it
get
like-
onto the website.
It's a mature rated game. It's very violent.
Is Lando Calrissian?
No, this is beyond that. This is it's very heavy themes. So basically, you play a guy named Booker DeWitt. You're basically badass for hire, and you have a past that is still mysterious to me because I'm not that far in. But basically, the game starts with
Is it a multipass?
It's no multipass. No, you basically start as this guy, and his job is bring us the girl, and the debt will be erased. That's all you know about this guy's past. So he goes up to the city called Columbia, which seceded from the Union, and you have to find this girl who's like kind of the center of power from the city, and you deal with everything from rebellion uprisings to white supremacy to all this kind of crazy stuff that was happening in our time in the nation. In this world, this city, they worship George Washington as a god. So you go to churches where they worship him. It's extremely violent. It's extremely engaging. The world is beautiful. It is the great thing about these games that Ken Levine crafts is he crafts an experience that's like watching 3 amazing movies back to back to back.
Is it PC based?
It's PC, Xbox, PlayStation, all the major systems.
Have you tried it in 3D?
What year did you say it's set in?
1912, I believe it's set in.
Wow. That's a crazy cool
It looks
time.
ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
and the first BioShock was set under the sea in a city in the 1930s. So it was all Art Deco and all that kind of stuff. So it's you and this, and you want to rescue this girl, and she's
Same
along
girl?
with you. What's that?
Same girl?
No, it's different. It's a new girl. This is all new. This is not tied to anything from the first game at all. It's a whole completely different narrative. It actually takes place before it. I wouldn't be surprised if the worlds are connected. But so your job is to rescue her, quote unquote. But really, you're bringing her to to the guys who are going to wipe away your debt. And then of course she's like a super strong character that can actually it's a little spoilery, but not too much. She can actually tear open different universes.
What?
And so she'll rip open the world, and you can walk through to a very slightly different version of the world that you're in. So
you're going to a different dimension.
basically, but because it's set in 1912, before like any kind of science fiction understanding of that kind of stuff existed, there's like the differences are huge, and the characters don't know what's happening, which is great, and the story is. In a lot of games, when you play a game, they'll be like cutscene. You experience some stuff, and then you play for like 3 hours. This game, the story just is always going forward, and it's just fantastic. I haven't beat it yet. I'll report it probably next week on the show when I've beat it. But it is on par. The first BioShock is one of the best crafted interactive experience I've ever had in my life. There are moments of horror in that game and surprise, and the twists are amazing, and this game is kind of on track to do the same thing. I haven't beat it yet, but I've seen some people say that it's the ballsiest, craziest ending to not only a game but story that they've ever seen in their lives.
You want to watch the ending right now? Let's
No,
watch it.
God,
Dude,
no,
you know
please.
what? You're talking about the future of entertainment Hollywood's afraid of this.
I mean, games already make more money than movies. I think a lot of people don't understand that games are now basically the most profitable. I mean, there's a game called Candy Crush Saga on the iPad and iPhone that literally makes millions of dollars a day.
Yeah,
a day.
Hollywood's getting scared. Look what like Konami did to Ebert. You know, I mean, it's
way too soon.
That's
way
like only a
too
few
soon.
hours.
Yeah. There's you see all this crossover now. You see all these like Hollywood people wanting to like break in. I want to break into games. Like like Steven Spielberg made a game called Boom Blocks, but it's nothing to do with Steven Spielberg at all. It's just a good game that had nothing to do with him.
Again, Star Trek was not too far off with the holodeck.
No, seriously. Well, they're
as being the ultimate.
You should look this up online. The military actually has an almost holodeck. They have this. They have a 360-degree treadmill that soldiers will walk on with projected screens, where they learn how to do city warfare.
I've been wanting to talk with them about talking. I've been wanting to do that for them actually.
Make it 3D. Yeah.
And then it's totally doable.
And there's the Oculus Rift coming, which is it's the first real true video game VR goggle where you can play games that are out now. Because I don't know if you guys have ever done VR, but usually go to like the state fair and there'll be like a trailer and they're like, "Come do VR," and it's like
sucks
and it's
so
like
bad.
it looks like graphics from 1992, and
Because
you're like,
it is.
because it is. But
Pretty bad.
there's a great Kickstarter campaign that happened called the Oculus Rift, where they're actually you can play real games that are out now in 3D with head tracking, so you can look around the world.
Nice.
Like you can play like like Doom,
And
like
they're probably not doing it in 3D, which is stupid.
It's not 3D now, but it's no, it is. It's stereoscopic 3D. They have two different.
is?
Yeah, I'm sorry, it is.
Good.
There's two different
Thank
cameras,
God.
and it also has the built-in head tracking. And there's limitations to it now, but like
There's a lot of lag.
it just tells you we're not that far off from this stuff to be standardized.
Oh, and it's coming, and it's going to be Avatar quality.
Well, have you guys ever
And can I have it on my Google Glass?
have you guys ever been to an Omni Theater movie where like there's stuff happening behind you on like a huge 3D dome screen?
Yeah.
Like I feel like that plus the stuff that you guys are doing plus like the Oculus Rift stuff plus games is like that's kind of the future of entertainment where you sit down and you have an interactive
you
fully
immerse
immersed
yourself.
3D
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
Even if I don't have to I don't want to walk around to see a movie, but I'd like to sit in a chair and be like look around the world while the movie's happening. That'd be pretty cool.
Look, and I was at Epcot Center,
which is the kind of the OG like 3D experience.
No, but it wasn't even. I was sitting in
Hall
the
of
really
Presidents.
boring Canada ride.
The hall, you went to the Hall of the Nations.
The one
or
it's
whatever.
got like it's like
There's
it's
a
got,
Canada.
You hit Canada and you're like,
it's
I
you walk
apologize
into
to our
this
Canadian
big
listeners.
circular room and there's like all these screens surrounding you, and Martin Short comes on.
anyone. Martin Short comes
you're
out.
like, of course, Martin Short, Canada.
Is he actually Canadian? It makes
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
It explains a lot.
All the at that period of time, the only funny people were from Canada. Isn't that weird?
It was like Strange Brew. It was John Candy.
Yeah.
It was
Strange
like
Brew was a magical
like pretty much
moment.
the whole
true. That's
SNL
totally true.
world was Canadian.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
Mike
I don't know why
Myers.
that was. Yeah, really.
Jim
weird.
Carrey is Canadian.
Okay, so Nathan
Carrey's
Huber,
Canadian?
tell us more about Epcot Center.
Oh yeah, well, so it's a 360 camera. They fly over the Canadian mountains and the rivers and the lakes, and it's beautiful. It's gorgeous, and you could get nauseated because you actually get a crazy sense of motion. And it's not 3D, and would be
So
much better. It was 3D, and it's not hard to do. I just hear that Disney sucks is all.
Well,
I heard people say, "Don't ever talk with Disney. Don't ever work with Disney because they suck."
change them. Change it. Yeah, I was in New York and I went. Neil deGrasse Tyson has basically his own show at the planetarium at the Natural History Museum or whatever it's called in New York, and it was one of those dome sphere video
Yeah.
things, and it was about meteors, and it was about meteors colliding with each other.
See,
and I was like,
Nice.
oh my god, it was so beautiful. And now I'm thinking back, like this is in 3D.
What?
I'd have been floating through space. It would have been amazing.
Everything's better in 3D.
It's so retarded why people are. It's so dumb. I don't understand why anyone would say it's not a good idea to go through.
Well, you guys are one by one. You guys are convincing the world that 3D is better.
I was one of the first people that I knew that bought a 3D TV, and I'm now like thinking about upgrading it to a newer model. But it's so hard for me to do that because I just don't feel like I squeezed enough 3D out of it. You know, it's not like just buying another TV. It's
Right.
do you guys do 3D in your guys' own music, like on stage also? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. Our show
That's
is
how it all started, really.
fully immersive. Is like we're standing inside a 3D world that kind of flies out around us. And,
Right. Okay. So that
and
was
over the audience.
That's awesome. And when did you guys meet? Like in college? Do you guys do electronic music? I'm taking from that video that I listened to.
Actually, that's correct. We did. We met in college, and we do electronic music.
And did you start off with
Very
like
insightful.
Fruity Loops or whatever it's called, or did
No.
you?
Oh my God! You want to know the first thing that I started out with? The MTV Music Generator on the PlayStation.
Yeah!
Does anybody?
Yes!
Seriously? Hell yeah!
Oh,
That's
amazing.
what got me into buying Fruity Loops, and then I
Nice.
used Fruity Loops for the longest time. Then I just stopped.
Yeah.
I just-
No one and that game did so bad commercially. That game did
Yeah,
not sell shit.
so
That basically
good.
tanked MTV on games. They like were
The
like,
whole
we're done.
reason that I bought the PlayStation was
Yes.
just for that game.
Oh, that's so
I
cool.
think I still have it.
Are you still PlayStation?
I'm not much of a gamer anymore, but
You still have a PlayStation?
I still
2
have that
or 1, I'm
PlayStation
sorry.
and that game,
Nice.
and I've got those old memory cards with
That's amazing.
songs on it.
With Magic?
Yeah.
Who do you
Yeah,
guys listen to?
Magic.
Like, do you like Daft Punk? Would you love to work with Daft Punk? I mean,
of course that'd be
that
amazing.
new album's about to
Amazing.
come out. You might want to fucking.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. That was
that
actually
would be a dream.
inspiration for our band to get started and to start doing entertainment that is like
That
literally
takes you on a trip.
When I saw Daft Punk for the first time doing their live tour in 2004
Yeah.
at the sports arena here in LA, I was having
That's like post Discovery, right? What was that next album that came out after that?
well they did the live
That was
right after
like
that.
their sort of comeback tour.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like when they hadn't done anything in like 10 years, and then they sort of just burst back on the scene with that pyramid. Did you guys anybody go to?
I didn't go to the
tour?
show, but
Yeah,
that
I
was Discovery was there. That last album,
and
that
then
they put
Alive
out.
Yeah.
it was the Alive tour.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it was I think it might have been Alive because I know they
Alive
came out with
Live.
another one that was like live.
Live,
Like
Alive,
had all
Alive,
their
Alive?
like because it was such a successful tour, they had recordings from all the audience just going
Right.
nuts and stuff in the background. And,
Anyway,
anyways,
that whole show is like the most amazing show that I've ever seen.
I had an awful day. One of the worst days. I like had a bad day surfing. Like almost got bit by a sea lion or something, and I was driving back. And I was driving back, and my car broke down in Malibu. This shitty car I had, and my ride, people I was going to Daft Punk with to get a ride wouldn't come pick me up.
What?
And I was like, and then I was like, I'm not going to this fucking thing. And then like, but a friend helped me out. I towed my car. He got me high in his office, and he's like, dude, take the subway. And so I was like, oh yeah. So he took me to the subway, and I got on the subway, and then I realized on the subway that it didn't take me to the arena at all, and there's no cabs in LA. And so, and my high was wearing off, and I was just bummed, and I was going to walk away, but then I was like, you know what, it's only a mile that way. I can walk a mile. And I walked a mile. I got there, I had floor. Which, did you guys go to that show?
No, I didn't even live in
Oh
LA
my
at the time.
god! Like literally, if you see someone who's been to the Daft Punk
That show?
any of their live tour shows, and you lock eyes with them, there's a moment where you both
know.
are like, "Yeah, you got it too," and everyone's like, "Yeah, I got it." And it's because they take a live performance so seriously on every level that it's not just, hey, I'm a rock star up here being all vain about myself. No, it's about creating.
You get what you pay for.
It's
plus
creating an
more.
experience for for the people.
Did you like that movie? That I accidentally downloaded that movie, the short movie. It's like 45 minutes long, where they're just driving like in cars and
Through the
stuff.
desert.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like so fucked up, and I'm like, me and this girl are laying on the couch, half undressed. We're like, all right, let's just zone out to some Daft Punk,
Yeah.
you know. And then I'm like, I might buy it on iTunes, and then we're just like laying there, and then it's just like this boring.
It just
fucking
nothing
movie.
happens. I went to the
I fell
premiere.
asleep in the premiere.
At the New Art, the LA premiere, man, and I was expecting like some cool like music and like it's gonna be. I still liked it.
It's a good movie.
It's all right.
but it's
some
just
way.
it's
Not what you
it's
expected.
not at all what you would expect.
it's
It's very slow.
Do you like Dead Mouse or any of those guys like Skrillex and
Yeah, Skrillex is pretty cool. Dead Mouse is all right. That's
people
cool.
moving forward. The electronic movement. It's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Their live shows seem pretty. I just love electronic music, and I'm just so happy. Like you like I actually know Dead Mouse, and like those guys are so humongous overseas. We can't even imagine.
Yeah,
you could take every single kind of music here in the United States, put it together, and still EDM is like way past that in like the live shows.
We're so slow over here.
I know it's so slow.
We're always so slow.
It's crazy. But do you think that's something like in 20 years we're going to be looking back at this, going like, remember when
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, like we think Skrillex is big right now, and Deadmau5 is big. It's only going to get bigger.
Yeah.
So much
Music's
bigger.
going to only get better because it's electronic. You can
Well,
do
I mean,
anything
you just
with
think
it.
about the whole electronic thing, and then compared to like bands, and I was in a bunch of bands in high school and stuff, and I love playing guitar and all that stuff. But the same 3 instruments for like 100 years: guitar, bass guitar, drums. Like, can we do something new? Like,
Well, they
is
put
it-
pedals in
like,
now,
can
and you
we-
appreciate the pedals. We appreciate the effects pedals.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, it's like
Well,
how long can you keep reinventing the same fucking tonal structure over and over?
That's
and
why
over
Mars
and
Volta
over.
exists, to break all of those barriers down.
We're gonna. This is when we get into like those touchy subjects like religion and politics.
I like Willie Nelson. I like Willie Nelson. I think he's amazing.
No, don't get me wrong. I love rock. I
Okay.
fucking love it.
Nirvana, good God.
I
It's
mean,
like the
I was raised on this
heaven.
stuff, but I'm just saying there's only so many.
And that's why there's no
Like
no
literally,
bands.
like if
know,
you
right?
just measure
It's all-
like the tonal range that a guitar is capable of making, right? It's only like it fills this much of your ear space, and that's all it is possible that it can do, unless you plug it into like a synth pedal and make it go.
Well, what always impresses
But that's just cheating.
That's weird thinking about it that way. That's interesting.
So at some point, it's like, can we get some new tones? Like that's the other word. The electronic, you got an infinite range. You can do anything you want. You can create sounds from
But
scratch. It's like-
sometimes it goes a little Lucasy, like there was an amazing trilogy, and then it all went wrong. What happened?
But look at rock now, Ryan. Like look
Oh,
at the
rock is
band.
terrible now.
Or like
God
any
awful.
music
Oh,
right
I
now.
would
There's
say that.
only a few. There's Black Keys. There's like you can name a couple that.
Oh, I
that,
could name a lot.
Yeah, but yeah. 1970s.
Like I
you're
said, we've been on
know.
air for pretty close to over an hour, and we could have this conversation for like 3 hours.
I could definitely have a
So
conversation.
what
Well,
happened
you
at
should rebut,
GDC?
Animal Collective.
Oh, GDC.
You should rebut.
I just got back from the Game Developers Conference, which is a conference dedicated to the industry, the game industry. It's basically you don't go if you're. There are some people that like there's kind of hangers on that'll go and stuff, but like it's like you go like when you sit in a GDC thing, you're learning about like monetization, all that kind of stuff, and it's always interesting. And right now, the big trend with games is definitely free to play. That's king shit right now. It really is. Like that is kind of ruling the school.
Free to play.
Free to play. So like the game initially it's free, and then there are other hooks built in to get you to buy later.
Like on your iPhone.
Like on your iPhone. Farmville is the most known version. I mean, there was at one point I think 35 million daily users of Farmville or something like that. It's
and
insane.
that calculates to crazy amounts of money.
Yeah, like that game I mentioned earlier, Candy Crush Saga, was the talk of the show. They're making literally millions of dollars
I love Candy
per
Crush.
day.
Yeah.
Per day on a free game.
It makes me feel like an idiot that I didn't get involved in a computer program.
It's crazy.
What
like
the
Web design.
fuck was
That's
I
kind of there.
thinking?
yeah, so
At least you're on 3D though.
Yeah,
it's the
but-
wave of the future.
yeah, you're doing.
But
you
it's
guys are
like
doing
suffering in
discount
the monetary world, whereas like
don't-
iPhone
yeah, but
apps
don't-
are making people giant yachts.
Yeah, but like that's it. There'll be a crash of that kind of stuff eventually. I mean, it happens for every industry. But like the other big push too, which is my favorite. I mean, the free to play is whatever. Like games. I just want the industry to keep making money. Because kind of side note, just today they announced, or maybe it was yesterday, I can't remember now. LucasArts, the video game division of Lucasfilm, Star Wars, got shut down. They're
By Disney?
But by Disney completely.
Yeah.
And we kind of saw this coming with Disney.
Yeah.
Which the frustrating thing is, they were working on a game called Star Wars 1313. It was this code name. It was the first time that we'll ever, and maybe possibly last time we'll ever see this. It was a gritty, mature version shooter action adventure game where you played as Boba Fett going through like a dark prison.
Whoa.
You got to be Boba Fett and just like mow dudes down, and it looked amazing. It looks stunning. Like the story looked cool. Like the graphics everything looked cool. And they just and today we never knew who it starred, and today they're like, oh yeah, so that game we shut down, It was the Boba Fett game that you all fucking wanted. That was so bad.
Disney, man, they're awesome. They're amazing.
It's very frustrating that they did that. I still think overall, I think Star Wars is in better hands with Disney because I think
Yeah,
George
for sure.
Lucas was squandering the shit out of his IP. And he
You
didn't know
saw
what to do
the
with it.
South Park episode though about that.
About what? What?
About
Oh yeah, I saw.
About Star
I saw
Wars.
that, but the
they knew it was happening.
the
They're
pro-
always way ahead of the curve. They knew it was going to get
yeah.
hot.
But the problem is like you know where I fell out of love with Star Wars when I saw a Lipton iced tea brisk commercial with a big head version of Darth Maul dancing and tap dancing. I was like, fuck you. I'm sorry. This is a science fiction space opera IP, and he's tap dancing to Frank Sinatra music for iced tea. I'm like, what
Okay,
the fuck?
wait a minute. Do you watch that show on Sci-Fi with the robots that battle?
Oh,
Yeah.
it's terrible.
Yeah,
So
and did
bad.
you see
Robot
the
Combat
episode
League.
with George Lucas's daughter?
Yes. Why was she on
she
it?
is scary.
Yeah, the
It was
MMA
so
fighter.
She's
weird.
an MMA fighter.
Yeah.
But that show is awful.
And
That
George
was-
Lucas showed up. Like
I was like, okay, a robot fighting league boner, and I watched it, and it was just dumb.
so
it was straight
lame. It was
dumb.
like Rock'em Sock'em.
It's rock,
so
but like they're like
stupid.
when they punch and the sparks come off, it's
So
clearly like
fake.
fake
Yeah.
sparks and
And
like
the
the
squirting the
squirting of the
liquid.
fluids. What is that shit?
Erector SETI.
Yeah.
so bad. It could be so good, but
Yeah.
it's so bad.
Yeah, I think I saw a C-3PO Go-Gurt commercial. of
Yes,
one
why?
person.
Like that's so. This is why I'm not saying that Disney's any better, but at least as soon as it went in Disney's hands, they're like, all right, we're gonna get back to making movies. We're gonna hand it off to people. We're not gonna control it. We're gonna like George Lucas directing those movies was not a good idea. They're handing it off to people like J.J. Abrams is like hot right now. Like it's still better.
Abrams.
It's still better.
And you saw what they did with Pirates of the Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Come on,
but
but you tell me you like the first one,
Yes.
those
and then what happened?
That's true.
But you're talking about turning a ride into a movie. That's different.
They did a very good job with the first one.
Yeah,
and, and they continued.
well, the thing that bothers me about Abrams making Star Wars is he's not going to make a Star Trek movie anymore, and he did such a
Star
good
Trek
job
was
on the
so
first
good.
Star Trek
I can't
movie.
wait for the new
Well,
one.
he's got at least the next one's about.
He's got the next one coming out, but now he's going to devote his life
Which
to fucking Star
actually,
Wars.
that one looks fantastic in 3D. So far, I haven't
does.
seen it,
Looks
but the
pretty good.
trailer, I was like,
You saw the trailer
yes,
in 3D?
Yeah,
I am so excited for that
It
movie.
looks like another one
You
of
don't
those
have a
movies
3D
where he
TV?
took the time to make it
I have
right.
an old. I'm Mr. Technology, and the oldest thing in my house is my TV. I have an old DLP TV.
All right, well,
LP
you might have a 3D TV you can have.
Yeah, I'll buy it from you.
LG, you can get them really cheap, and they're awesome.
LG's great. I also like the Sharp. The 4-color TVs are pretty cool.
What's the deal with 3D projection? Because I have a projector. I love it. It's my new favorite thing. I'm never going to go back to a TV, probably, unless for my bedroom. The projection, I mean, I have a 130-inch screen in my house. 3D projection, is that something that can be projected? Or
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend you doing it because it's just going to be a headache.
and washed out too.
Yeah.
Well, you
That's
have
how
to
we
buy the
first did our
screen.
shows. Our first Kit Infinity shows in 3D, we did with rear projection 3D, which gets even more expensive and complicated.
But with 3D glasses, I always have a little bit of a tint, and projectors are already hard enough to get a bright image out
true,
of anyway.
and you're not getting true blacks because it has to be a projected black.
So real quick to go back to it, the other big theme at GDC that we're going to see in game, and they've been pushing this for years. Actually, talking about BioShock, when the first BioShock came out, it like made this giant push for we need narrative in games. It's like we need to actually start really like caring about story. That was the big thing on the industry side, is these guys were actually sharing their secrets. So like my buddy Corey May, he writes all of the Assassin's Creed games, which are very well known for their stories.
Oh, have you played the new one?
Yeah, it's okay. But they shared their process of writing and like building it, and it's insane. I cannot explain. Like if next time you meet a screenwriter in Hollywood that's like I've sunk my life into writing this movie, like this 2 hours of my life.
fuck that.
I'm like,
When
you
it
know
comes to
what?
video
You know
game
what?
writing?
Yeah, I'm going to introduce you to my buddy Corey May, who's written like 6 like 15-hour games of narrative. I'm sorry, like that guy is a machine. Like you have to, and like to make him good and make the plot holes make sense. Like that's insane. Like I'm not like I love movies, but like man, credit where credit is due. Like it's and they showed their process. It's crazy. Their process is insane.
We had Chad Kultgen come on this show, and Chad Kultgen is he's a best-selling author. He's written a million movies, and he did
He just did a movie.
He just did Wonderstone.
Burt, that's what it was. Burt Wonderstone. Yep.
Yeah.
He wrote the original script that was amazing. That the shitty piece of pile that's on that was released.
He's not really happy about that.
He still got his name on it though, right? I saw his name on it.
It did? That's good, yeah. But he came in and he wrote some dialogue for Saints Row, and just not even writing the main storyline. Drew Holmes does that. Just coming in and writing all of the like the in-game character dialogue, like you see a hooker walking down the street or whatever. Doing all of that, he was like, never again.
It's
never,
insane.
Yeah.
Ever.
But you
ever
still
again.
have to think about your overall narrative and your plot and your plot holes and the characters and the character progression. It's crazy.
Some friends of ours in this band called Health just did the soundtrack for Max Payne 3.
Oh, that's such a good soundtrack.
Yeah.
Such a good.
Yeah.
It's a great game. That's actually
What
a
up, Jupe?
really good game.
Yeah.
I might go surfing with Jupiter tomorrow morning.
Yeah, but no,
Come
but
on, Jupe.
I remember hanging out with them while they were working on it, and just the amount of work that it took to just build all these different layers of music.
Yeah, 'cause it has to be dynamic.
and all of it has to be able to like
Like if they do this
fade
one thing in a
into
scene, it has to
into
change this
itself.
way.
You know, like for
Multiple options for
Game,
one scene.
game
so cool.
soundtracks are part of the narrative, and they're basically sequencers, like an 808 or something like that. And so when the designer crafts like a narrative moment, when your character runs past like a wall, he can have a trigger there that'll bring up like a bunch of drums. You turn the corner,
Yeah,
a bunch of bad
exactly.
guys there,
Yeah,
the drums
yeah,
are playing, and
yeah.
it's
And then it could
it has to be
change.
interactive.
Yeah.
It has to be exactly. So the amount of, as soon as you introduce an interactive moment, the amount of risk is so much higher for telling a story. But these guys still pull it off. Like they still pull it off so well.
yeah.
I got a new dog today.
You got an Ewok. You didn't get a
Yeah,
dog.
I got an Ewok.
I can't wait to meet your Ewok.
So adorable.
Tell everyone your dog's name.
I'm thinking of calling it Wiki, just so I can finally say I have a wiki. and then or like when it pees, it's like taking a wiki leak.
Oh, look at this dog.
But
So
it's
cute.
got a line cut right now. It's hard to tell.
You literally just got this dog a couple hours
Yeah,
ago.
I've only got to play it with it for an hour, and I had to come.
Or you could call him Lionel. I'm just saying.
No, because it's a girl.
Oh yeah.
But man, it's so great. It's the only problem is that I thought it was going to be bigger. Like it really is the size of like a beer can or a beer bottle, like
Yeah, it's so
lengthwise.
tiny.
And it actually started crying because it got scared. And like I'm like, whoa, this is just like having a baby.
Right.
So you got to spend like the next
my
2 days
God.
straight with this dog and just bond with
That
it.
is ridiculous.
You should call her Chewbacca.
I think we might have a winner right there. That Chewbacca is pretty fucking.
Oh, that's amazing.
That's awesome, dude. You might have just named my dog.
Muff Said.
Thank
Muff
you.
Said. I mean, right there
Said.
on that bombshell. Muff Said.
My name is Ryan Keely. You can follow me on the Twitter. That's at Ryan Keely, RyanKeely. The sexiest man in video game development, my co-host.
Yeah, Nick Ahrens, robot pants on everything. Yeah, that's it.
And our guests.
Kid Infinity, what's up?
Yeah, I'm going to check out you guys' music. Where's the best place to check out your music at? Because I'm definitely, I could tell by just that opening video that I love the sound of it.
Nice.
I'm ready to download that shit.
Yeah,
for real.
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud?
You know, SoundCloud's
Oh,
probably
sweet.
the best.
Support
right?
the artists. Yeah.
Great.
And
Facebook as well.
And your video is also in 3D, which is pretty badass
They
to
have
check
a
out
bunch
on.
of sweet videos and a brand new one.
Yeah, we do have a brand new video we just put out tonight.
Oh,
so
really?
y'all should check it out.
What do
what
people
is it?
search on YouTube to find it? Just Kid Infinity?
Yeah, the name of the new video is Riding Through the Jungle.
Oh, pizza.
So Nathan Huber, Ryan Perdero, thank you so much for coming on. Their band is
So
Kid
great
Infinity.
meeting you.
You guys can also, if you want to have a 3D interactive experience at your event, go to 3dliveevents.com. They're artists and tech gurus, so make sure to support them. And of course, handing it back to the man that makes it happen, Mr. Brian Redban.
Yeah, dude, I'm seriously thinking about like, is this something that you can actually get for like a smaller shows? Is this something that's capable of like a 200 people like kind of place, or is having an opening? Lately, there's this guy in San Diego that does video VJs, and I was thinking about having him open up before I do these comedy shows.
Yeah.
And I was just wondering, mix like what you guys were talking about, mixing video with 3D.
You could probably do a projection version. That might
There's
be-
a number of ways.
Might be able to do it for something like that.
Oh, cool.
Just hit us up.
We talk about it.
All right, guys, I'm Brian Redban. Go to DeathSquad.tv. We have a bunch of new dates in Sacramento and San Francisco. We're going to be coming there with a bunch of people. We're bringing Death Squad there. And don't forget, every Monday at the Comedy Store, free show. And this is your guys' new video, so check it out on their YouTube channel. What's your YouTube channel?
Kid Infinity Music.
Great. Thanks, guys. Muff Said.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Said.